Is it weird that I want my partner to discipline me? I've been in a BDSM dynamic like that. It took a lot of negotiation about what we would both be comfortable with, and we eventually settled on me being in charge of disciplining my GF when she ran late, both of us female. If it makes a difference, it was great, and it improved our relationship so much. Previously, her lack of punctuality had been quite annoying to me and caused tension between us. Now, it was fun because I could, look at my watch openly and announce she'd be in trouble if she didn't have her shoes on in 10 seconds, and we'd both be aware that this was always also a lead up to fun sexy times. It was the only way we ever took the BDSM dynamic out of the bedroom. Good times. Maybe check out the BDSM subreddits for more input, even if this is not something you connect with sex. Not everybody there does. I say this with love, and as someone who I 24 have asked my ex-boyfriend 25M to suck on his chest. Go to therapy, girl. I used my ex to fulfill different roles for me ex, my mom, and he actually did. But I also subconsciously had him playing a few other roles which he could never do. He is a human man. So, maybe your boyfriend will be okay with it and you can have this dynamic you desire, which is fine then. But don't forget to check in with yourself and hopefully through therapy get to the root of this desire, because chances are this isn't the only desire you have. Much love. Not really weird, but I think this can create a weird dynamic between you two. It sounds like you're looking for a daddy type of figure which your BF isn't comfortable with. It's a way of absolving yourself of the stress of responsibility, which is a common form of relaxation, especially in the BDSM community. It's like driving a car for a living and being constantly on guard to avoid accidents, then getting in a taxi and being able to relax knowing someone else now has that responsibility. It's not unusual in the slightest, but it needs to be approached with a lot of trust, communication, and understanding. For women, it's about as common as foot fetishes are among men. It's basically vanilla. Nothing to worry about. It probably is for the reason you said you feel like you missed a quintessential part of childhood, so now you're trying to make up for lost time. It's not something I'd probably oblige, since to me it would feel like I'm treating my partner like a child, for very obvious reasons. That's not a way I want to see the person I have an intimate romantic relationship with. But that's just my 2 cents, and I'm sure there are guys who would be able to separate that out and give you what you need. Well, to properly explore a kink, both people got to be into it. If he feels weird about doing what you asked, it's worth seeing where the line is. Maybe propose a milder version like simply bad girl type stuff and not a full discipline regimen. If he's still not into it though, you have to accept that. And you have to also understand that just because he won't fulfill this, it doesn't mean he doesn't love you, just that he either isn't comfortable or doesn't feel that he can properly give you what you want in this way. Sometimes compromises can be made. Sometimes it can be an exchange where one person allows the other to indulge in one kink and the other gets to indulge in their own, and sometimes it's just a flat-out no. Please don't let negative feelings bleed into other areas of your relationship, cause at the end of the day, is it really worth it? Man, hopefully you can reconcile with what makes you want this though. It's not wrong, and plenty of people have similar kinks, and the psychology behind all this kind of stuff is often complex and subconscious. There's no blaming here, only responding to the circumstances you are faced with. Wishing you the best. If this is a kink, sexual, playful, totally normal. Outside of that, parentifying your partner never works out long term. People like what they like. Nothing weird about it. It's a kink, pretty common too. Been on both sides of this myself. You've got to find the right partners for that though. Feels really ridiculous if your partner is forcing themselves into this, won't feel natural. So don't worry about it, just have your fun, enjoy yourself, and make sure you don't misbehave. Yes, you have daddy or mommy issues. Not weird, maybe a spanking to move things along. You should read about BDSM. You sound like someone who's into that stuff. Yes, you're responsible for disciplining yourself, they are responsible for setting their own boundaries. You aren't weird, but you certainly need to better define what is punishable and how. Just being a brat is quite vague, so you both might not agree or be comfortable with what is and isn't punishable. For instance, one of the rules I always suggest is if my phone dies while she is out, she would get spanked. We both agreed, with the caveat being that if it was outside her control, she would not be punished. Again, she liked being spanked, so she never used that excuse. You are the one with the power in the arrangement. Your so only derives power from your consent, which can be revoked at any moment. Discuss this with them and assure them that their power comes from you, and that you want them to use it. As a professional trans dom, I can assure you that although it's not talked about very often, it's more common than you would think. I hate any kind of generalization, but men tend to be more physical, while women are more likely to be cerebral. It stands to reason, then, that you would be more likely to fetishize an idea than an object. Female paying clients are extremely rare, but both of the women I've been hired by in the years I've been doing this type of work were interested in the type of discipline that you speak of. In the more mainstream DS world, discipline is almost always a component of a couple dynamic. Some couples do BDSM dominant and submissive relationships 247. Some people absolutely love this and it works for them. While bedroom-only dominant submissive play is common, 247 isn't as frequent, but there's definitely a slice of society that loves this. When talking about anything outside of mainstream sex ideas, asking the general public will likely not get you far, lead to misinformation, or trying to tell you something's wrong with you. I've read some replies here already about how this is irresponsible, or making an unhealthy relationship, or would be a burden of some sort. This is true for most people, but for a BDSM dominant person, they desire this exact thing. They are the yin to your yang. I would head over to BDSM subreddit and specifically ask about 247 dominant and submissive relationship. It's not weird at all, but I really think you should look into the origin of these feelings. Your partner is not your parent. When kids are disciplined, it's because at their young age they lack the ability to control themselves or really appreciate the implications of their actions. As an adult, the real question is, why are you misbehaving? One of the things we expect adults to do is to appreciate and apologize when they've acted like an asshole. So disciplining an adult doesn't really do anything. What you want is somewhere between roleplay and a kink. It's not weird to have kinks, but they are consensual. If you're actually really acting out and misbehaving as an adult, that's a different issue. I'm a man and I believe I'm a gentleman. I'm very affectionate and kind, but I love to have a woman I can discipline, someone who I will make submissive to me. If not, I will dominate her and punish her, but I will also be caring and affectionate afterwards. Nah, not weird for you. Everyone has their little thing they like. I found this one to be common and have been asked many times. With that said, I have met many good people who don't like that sort of play. He's not wrong to feel weird about it. We all have our dislikes and turn-offs too. Basically, sit down and discuss what you would both like and be comfortable with. I bet there is more compatibility than it seems. Not weird or unusual at all. Sounds pretty common in a BDSM dynamic, which can involve non-sexual power dynamics, stuff like this. There's different levels of submissive behaviors. Some people are interested in just being submissive during sex, others hope for a more established role of submissive dom behavior. I don't think it's weird at all if that's what you enjoy. However, if your partner isn't interested or okay with it, then I don't think it's something you should keep perusing and pushing for. Well, have you been a bad girl? Lol, not weird at all. You like what you like. You want structure in your life, a line to follow, so to speak. It stems from wanting to be led, so I don't think it's weird at all. A desire in your life hasn't been met, and it's trying to be met in a different way, and this is the form it's taking. I will also say that I believe it's one's duty to please their partner, as in they should want to. Another way to say it is, I believe one should desire to please their significant other and should accommodate on such things for the one they love within reason. Of course, and your request is very simple and reasonable. It's not weird, IMO. I think it's just what you probably feel like you need in a stable relationship. With that being said, it's an open door for potential abuse. I think having an open, blunt conversation with your BF about this while setting rules and guidelines is definitely needed. But if that's what works for you, then sure thing. Just know you are putting a whole lot of trust in someone, so please be safe.